Walmart needs no introduction. It's one of, if not the biggest superstore conglomerates in the entire United States that has low prices for your everyday needs. Ah yes, good old Wally World. The only place where you can do a month's worth of shopping for under $100. Well, depending on the family size, of course. Now, we all know that Walmart is the leading killer when it comes to small mom-and-pop businesses going bust. It's evil in that sense. However, we all know that. But what we're here to talk about today isn't exactly common knowledge, and while some of it has been brought up before in the past, it clearly hasn't had any sort of impact in terms of how Walmart operates, which is rather disturbing considering how far back some of these incidents and problems go. Here are some dark and disturbing facts that Walmart doesn't want you to know.
6.
Walmart uses child labor to stay in business. Now, while it isn't all that surprising, Walmart tends to get their stock mainly from overseas manufacturers. Whether it's materialistic goods to food items, that's where most of their stock tends to come from. However, when it comes to materialistic goods that come from overseas, they're most definitely manufactured by child laborers. There have been several disturbing reports that described how children are being beaten to increase productivity and often pass out on the manufacturing floors from exhaustion as they're working anywhere from 12 to 20 hours a day. It's truly awful stuff. A study conducted by Harvard Law in 2006 interviewed some of these children and found that they were often working 7 days a week for wages as low as 6.5 cents an hour. So if you thought Walmart workers had it rough, try being these kids because the conditions they work under for that wage is simply disgusting. The study states that, quote, the wages are so wretchedly low that many of the child workers get up at 5 o'clock a.m. each morning to brush their teeth using just their finger and ashes from the fire since they cannot afford a toothbrush or toothpaste. Walmart might not be the only American corporation employing overseas children to keep manufacturing costs low, but they certainly are the largest.
5.
Slave labor encouraged. So as if child labor wasn't bad enough on the materialistic side of things, how about slave labor when it comes to their fresh foods? That's right, much like clothing and other various items, most of their food stock also comes from overseas. That being said, though, it's probably not for the best if their shrimp stock is anything to go by. It was discovered that the world's largest prawn farmer, Charoen Pokphand Foods, or simply known as CP Foods for short, in Thailand, purchased their fish meal to feed their farmed shrimp from freelance fishermen who operate boats. Sounds like standard stuff. However, what makes this so disgusting is the fact that these boats are operated and run by people who've been enslaved by the boat owners. It's believed that those who are enslaved were previously kidnapped from various parts of the country and are then sold to ship owners who bid the highest and forced to work on these ships for 20 hours a day. It's so bad that they're being slaughtered like animals if their work isn't up to par, and are severely beaten even if they're doing what's asked of them. Despite knowing that these practices are in effect, CP Foods has gone on to say that despite these practices being used with their supplier, slave labor is an essential part of their supply chain. Yet major supermarkets continue to buy from them, including Walmart, Costco, and UK-based supermarket Tesco.
4.
Wage theft. So we all know that the employees of Wally World have it pretty bad. I mean, one group of employees were purposefully locked in a store overnight, so you know that their jobs are bad, but more on that later. But much like with most people in bad jobs, they at least have that paycheck at the end of the month to keep them going. It's a motivator to get them through the work week. Well, as it turns out, even getting their wages in full is a thing to worry about. With a company like Walmart, it certainly begs the question as to why they keep forgetting to either pay their wages in full or pay them at all. Notice we put emphasis on forgetting. Well, the answer is simple. They didn't forget. They just took their employees' wages so that the higher-ups could line their own pockets. This was made evident when Walmart was caught red-handed stealing wages from their workers in Philadelphia. In 2002, several employees came forward claiming Walmart had forced them to work through unpaid breaks and meal breaks, as well as overtime hours without an increased pay rate. A class action lawsuit was filed, and in 2013, Walmart was forced to pay out $151 million to employees, as well as $33.8 million in attorney's fees. So at least there was a happy ending in a sense. However, this was a story that went widespread. You've got to think that there's probably other stories across the United States similar to this one that didn't get any attention. In fact, there was a similar case that proves that this could be a common occurrence, as another incident occurred in California when Walmart employees were forced to work overtime for minimum wage, receiving no additional compensation for working over 40 hours a week. They chose to settle this dispute out of court for just $21 million this time. Even though Walmart's stock dropped 6 cents per share after these lawsuits were settled, it apparently wasn't enough for the establishment to change their ways. Again, those are only 2 examples that have made it to public light. Imagine how many other incidents similar to this have happened all across the 6,363 stores in the United States since then.
3.
Discrimination against women. Now, this is where we really start getting into how the employees are treated. Obviously, none of the following subjects are going to have a patch on child labor and slave labor found in outsourced companies overseas. However, considering this is close to home for them and they treat their employees the way they do, it's honestly mind-boggling. Anyway, let's start with something that'll get anyone's blood boiling: the fact that they discriminate against female workers. According to the National Organization of Women, females made up the majority of Walmart workers in 2013, roughly 57%. Nevertheless, female workers are often underpaid, underrepresented, and given little opportunity for advancement. Now, obviously, if they were treated the same as the male workers, it wouldn't be that much better, but it still sucks that they're treated badly simply due to their gender. Anyway, Dukes versus Walmart is the largest class action gender discrimination lawsuit in U.S. history. 1.5 million women accused Walmart of discrimination. In 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court issued a 5-4 decision in favor of Walmart, claiming, quote, "Even if every single one of these accounts is true, that would not demonstrate that the entire company operates under a general policy of discrimination." Now, gender discrimination is only scraping the tip of the iceberg. Let's get into some more disgusting tactics practiced by the fine executives of Walmart when it comes to employee treatment.
2.
Employee lock-in. As we previously touched upon during the section about workers not receiving payment, despite earning minimum wage while working forced overtime, employees were in fact locked in the store overnight in order to make sure that they completed their shifts fully without leaving early or slipping out for a few hours for a break. This is incredibly drastic. And before you say anything, no, this wasn't a policy from decades ago, before technology provided stores with security cameras and key cards to track an employee's whereabouts. Nope, this in fact happened in this century in the year 2004. It sounds like a long time ago, but we're pretty sure security systems and CCTV cameras were a thing back then. But in all seriousness, this story broke in 2004 when the New York Times reported how this policy affected workers, giving examples like an Indiana man working overnight, suffering from a heart attack, and being unable to leave his Walmart to seek medical help. So clearly, this is a massive hazard to employees' health. You've also got to take into consideration the fact that they're working with a lot of heavy goods. Anything could happen. But if you thought the heart attack was the worst story, how about being locked inside of a Walmart during a natural disaster? That's exactly what happened to a group of employees when a hurricane hit Florida and workers were trapped inside. Additionally, several overnight employees had discovered that their wives went into labor while they were working, and they couldn't leave the store to be with them. With these cases being common, it was inevitable that they would eventually be brought to public light, as several workers filed a class action lawsuit against the company, claiming that they were forced to work without a day off and over 70 hours a week for a salary of just $1,500 a month. Bear in mind, it's not a case of them not being able to give them a pay raise or pay them for the hours of overtime they've put in. It all comes down to greed. What's even worse is the fact that most employees who work for Walmart who filed the lawsuit were all illegal immigrants. They lost the case and likely their jobs. Even more disgusting is the fact that Walmart wasn't forced to change their safety policies until 2013, including their ridiculous overnight lock-in policy. Basically, if you work at Walmart, you've got no human rights. Still not convinced though? Well, stick around for the next point.
1.
Pregnant employees are treated badly. Oh, what's that? You've got a child on the way? Well, tough. That's not our problem. For women who are pregnant, the conditions they work under at Walmart are atrocious. This has been the case since the company was first founded back in 1962. However, the conglomerate sunk to a whole new low in 2014. Walmart was sued on 2 different occasions due to their poor treatment of pregnant workers. Candace Riggins filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, claiming she was forced to work in unhealthy conditions. Despite knowing of her pregnancy, she was frequently put on bathroom duty, in which she was forced to work with harsh bathroom chemicals, which could well do some damage to her unborn child. Oh, but that's not all. Being pregnant, you're obviously going to need breaks off of your feet. It's normal and necessary. Well, when she was put on door greeter duty, she was constantly told that she couldn't sit down, despite the fact that her doctor recommended light duty, and was eventually fired for taking sick days. According to Ellen Eardley, a partner at the law firm Marai and Scallett, quote, Walmart has made only the bare minimum of accommodations for its pregnant workers. Its policy accommodates women with disabilities caused by pregnancy, but in practice, Walmart does nothing to accommodate the vast majority of pregnant women who are healthy, yet still may need a temporary change in duties. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you're pregnant, not pregnant, disabled, old, young, man, woman, legal citizen, or immigrant. All you are to Walmart is disposable. It's the sad truth, and the fact that this has been a well-known fact for many years with little to no change in the way they work, it doesn't look as though it's changing anytime soon. And that's our list. Did we leave anything out that you know about? Let us know in the comments section below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.